I don't want to get too passionate about this, but it really makes me angry. Not a joke. Some of you know me. No one ever doubts I mean what I say. The problem is I sometimes say all that I mean. And I don't want to say all that I mean because I feel... Anyway. Look, guys, ladies, you know, my dad, as I said, when he moved from Scranton because there were no good jobs after coal died, and he wasn't a coal miner. He was, my grandfather was a mining engineer, my great-grandfather, but they didn't, if you listen to Barack, he makes me sound like I come from Scranton and I climbed out of a coal mine with a lunch bucket the other day. He loves that metaphor, but the truth is my dad was a white-collar, high school-educated guy, a graceful man, a salesman. But things dried up, so we moved down to Delaware. But he knows what it's like. Every time there was a recession, I was raising a household where somebody around our table, Sunday table, lost a job. I know what it's like watching uncle, aunts, friends, neighbors lose a job. My dad used to say, Joe, remember, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about your respect. It's about your place in your community. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay. I'm not being melodramatic. I mean that from the bottom of my heart as my father did. They don't get it. Some people in my party don't even get it anymore. They don't get it. It's about our pride. It's about our dignity. It's about who the hell we are and what we've done. And it makes me angry. It makes me angry.
He ended with, it makes me angry, it makes me angry. It actually makes me angry how people like him can try to insult the intelligence of voters. Admittedly, a lot of voters have minimal intelligence, so they can't be insulted, I suppose. But what was that you were saying about Anita Hill?
The way he treated her back then.
Oh, doing those hearings?
20 years ago, yeah, but I know he said recently he owed her an apology, but still.
Oh, he's backpedaling. Well, my dear, you're not alone. Perusing the comments, Mary Saul says, don't be fooled and vote for Democrats. This is what you're going to get, more BS. Vote for progress, not for a dead party. That's true. This other guy, Blackout07 Maroon, says, this guy has literally been in the Senate for 30 years. He's always been a Bolton's-owned fossil, status quo politician. Same person writes, Joe, you've never done a damn thing for the working class. I'm a Democrat from a progressive ring, and I'm tired of you pretending like you could change anything. You were in the White House for 8 years and didn't change anything. Stop pretending us Democrats want you as a nominee for 2020. We take Tulsi Gabbard, whoever that is, Bernie Sanders, Jeff Merkley, and celebrity Jon Stewart over your status quo self. Another guy says he doesn't believe the story about his father. Steve Usselton says, angry Joe, he's angry at Trump, doesn't give a damn about the working people. Democrats are so contrived, everybody can see through it now. He puts a girl in a hard hat on the stage behind him. Is that a joke? I bet she's not a hard hat worker. It's a prop. Said in earlier videos produced, I suppose, last year, maybe even older than that. I'm not a Donald Trump, or I wasn't a Donald Trump supporter, per se. I wasn't even a Republican. I voted mostly Democrat all my life. I was on the left side, liberal side, you would call it, with some conservative leanings. But as I also said in videos I produced, after when I saw what was done to Bernie Sanders by Debbie Wasserman Schultz with the approval of the Clinton organization and the DNC, I wanted to throw up. I was appalled. Closing down voting hours and primaries, not having the amount of debates he wanted to have against Hillary and a host of other things. There was some shenanigans in California which they still don't talk about. I transitioned over to Donald Trump without even thinking about it because I've always taken a macro view of things, not a micro view of things. And from a macro perspective, we were witnessing a revolution in this country. Bernie Sanders began that revolution, and the reason why I liked him was purely through selfish reasons. I liked his social programs, his proposals. I believe he wanted to remove the earnings limit on Social Security. My wife and I produced a video about that. If that had happened, if they had removed a cap off of where you're taxed, particularly millionaires keep paying in Social Security and all, I demonstrated through flowcharts and spreadsheets how you could actually lower the age of Social Security to what did I say, 60, 58?
Something like
somewhere
that.
around there, right? You could also give Social Security recipients now, ones that like myself and my wife, even though she's still working in the private sector, a 10% across the board raise. And you'd have enough money. I mean, the fund would be solvent. And we know that they raid the fund all the time to do other things, but the fund would be solvent. I also showed in another video, and this is something Bernie Sanders wanted to do, something about taxing excess wealth. Now, this is purely socialistic, and I know, but taxing certain excess wealth that the businesses were hoarding. And I said, out of the, $3 trillion they had, probably, excess wealth, if you only taxed $1 trillion of it, that you could create millions of jobs. I showed that. So in concert with helping Social Security, lowering the retirement age, we would really have full employment in the true sense of the word. So I transitioned over to Trump because the treatment of Trump and Sanders was similar by the mainstream press, albeit Trump's a lot more radical as far as the treatment. I've never seen a president attacked like this guy has been attacked. But from what I've seen going into the second year under Trump, at least from a personal perspective, from our family's perspective, we're better off. We're better off. My wife has gotten 2 raises under Trump. Now, I can't say it's directly related to him, but the corporation has loosened the coffers, so to speak. The stock market, it speaks for itself, even though we're in a slight mishy-marsh thing now over this tariff thing, which I wish Trump would go away from it all. But we've seen our investments go up in the past 2 years, or year and a half, more than they moved under 8 years of no drama Obama, Mr. Change and Hope. And we both voted for Obama twice. So we're what would be called free thinkers. We're no longer affiliated with parties or anything. But so we back Trump. We back him all the way. And we're not alone. I did some calculations and some investigation. They don't talk about this much, about former Bernie Sanders supporters who turned and voted for Trump. And what I say was something like 2.3 million, right? I calculated.
Yeah, I thought this was supposed to be about Biden.
Huh?
I thought this was supposed to be about Biden.
Oh, screw Biden. Like that guy wrote. He's a fossil. I'm just trying to show, because I'm putting this on Facebook and people don't know, or I don't want them thinking I'm a pure Trump flag waver and all. As someone once said, one Trump supporter, he said, he's our a-hole. I'll clean up my language. He's an a-hole, we know, but he's our a-hole, as opposed to the other ones.
Like I said, they didn't, as far as I'm concerned, they didn't give us a choice. It was Clinton or him.
Yeah.
Who the devil are you supposed to pick out of that? And
so
because I'm a woman, doesn't mean I'm going to vote for one.
Why not? Did you want the first woman president?
She was crooked as they come. It was worse with her than it is with him. You think he's seen? Yeah, no way, no way.
You notice how quiet she's been lately? With the Russian collusion? Yeah, there was Russian collusion, all right. But not between Trump's people. Hillary.
Anyone else that did the stuff that she did would have been in jail real quick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it may come out, who knows. But that's our little thought for today. Where my wife took off from work, waiting for this horrific snowstorm. We've had at least a quarter inch of rain so far.
Give it time. Give it time.
My snow blower's prime and ready for my wife to use while I sit here and do videos.
You're lonely.
Later.